Hey Clashes, the first season with Town Hall 18 just finished, and I feel like this is the perfect time to draw a conclusion on how good was the Town Hall 18 update and how good is the current meta when it comes down to difficulty, variety, and as well let's take a look into the future when we have as well new levels for offense and as well for defense. But let's start things off with the Town Hall 18 update. And I have to say, I'm so happy. I'm so happy that all of those concerns from myself, from many players out there, were not justified. We had little to no bugs happening, that was a crazy big surprise for many, because with what we had with the ranked update, that update was just really bad. That was just really a sad time for a Clash. But the Town Hall 18 update, little to no bugs. We had a new spell, a new troop, a new mechanic with the Town Hall, which means it's no defense anymore, which means it's like changing up the meta, how you're attacking bases. We have the new Guardian now. So for me, overall, this update was at least a 9 out of 10. While the ranked update, I think I put like a 5 out of 10 or something. But the Town Hall 18 update, I'm happy that it was a big success. The question now, though, is with a little bit less than 1 month now after the update, was the update good when it comes down to the meta? Well, I think actually it was pretty much perfect. And I will explain to you why, because I feel like many people right now are really upset with how strong the Meteor Golem is and everything. And I can totally understand that, but I really want to share with you my approach to this and why I think right now the meta is actually really good. For this, the first thing we have to take a look at is the overall difficulty. Because if you take a look at top players like Stars, on Town Hall 17, he averaged like 315 and more on average on offense with the Town Hall 17 meta. Well, now with Town Hall 18 and even versus non-maxed bases, I think players like Stars had like a little bit above 300, which means overall the game has become harder on the highest level and as well for a lot of people below that, with the difference that those who are a little bit better in attacking non-max spaces feel like that the current Town Hall is easier. This is pretty much every single year the case where a new Town Hall is getting released. At the highest level, people usually gem quite a bit. That is just natural that when you're having a higher upgraded base that you're just well pushing higher. But still, we see on the highest level still plenty of non-max spaces and even top players, like I said, Stars, myself, Mammoth, and so on. It was a little bit higher and a little bit below the 300 average mark. And even with like having an average of like 250 to 260 with the solid defense, you could reach right now top 100 global. So long story short, the meta right now with the difficulty is harder than what we had with Town Hall 17. And this is as well the reason why I think there should not be a nerf to Meteor Golem or the Totem. I know people might be surprised now, but I think there's only one thing currently in the game which should be nerfed/changed. I will explain in a second what exactly I mean by that. But now let's get back to the meta, to the variety, as we have now discussed, the overall difficulty of the game, and I think that the game has become harder. Now with the variety, I think it's quite clear. Meteor Golems are ruling legends, and whoever wants to push, Meteor Golems is typically the way to go. You can as well clearly see that with just some stats, like the top 20 global players, 19 out of 20 players have used the Meteor Golem strategy or some version of that. Some people with 5, some people with 4, but overall always the Meteor Golem approach. By the way, shout out to Cynthia because he was the only one up there who still used the Warden Charge Rocket Loot. So big props to him. But back to the point with the Meteor Golems, I feel like another reason why they were so dominant is because they're somewhat a bit easier to use, and at the same time they're really strong. All the content creators jumped into the hype, onto the hype train, and pretty much everyone covered it. Which means a lot of people copied it, and this is why so many are now playing it. Now, with other creators like TK, and as well other creators in general, more people as well now playing maybe Super Bonus because we're going to have a lot of coverage of that. And I think this is as well another reason where we then might see a little bit more variety, because other strategies, Super Bonus, throwers, and so on, they're weaker than Meteor Golems, don't get me wrong, but the distance, like the difficulty or like the strength difference is not as big, because if you would compare Town Hall 17 meta Root Riders to Super Bonus, I mean, that was like day and night. This was an insane difference. Meteor Golems now compared to Super Bonus, the difference in strength is way closer. So what I would like to see all of those troops which have received new level, like the bolus with the super bolus, like electro dragons, like dragon riders, like throwers, they should all receive another small buff. Not a big one, just maybe 100 hit points, for example, something like that. That would be already more than enough to really like push them really close to meteor golems. But something which I feel like is really important as well looking into the future, pretty much no of those, like none of those meta troops have received a new level just yet. And already now, it seems like that we have more variety than what we had with Tunnel 17, because Tunnel 17, we had Root Riders, and I feel like they were even more dominant than what we have now with Meteor Golems. So, if we look now into the future and we think about Yetis with Super Yetis have possibly a new level. So, they for sure are going to be as strong as the Meteor Golems. Next one are the Dragons. Even already, some people in the top 100 are playing Dragons with the Totem Spear, for example. The next thing then, Witches. Witches have not received a new level in quite some time, so having a new Witch level would push Super Witches as well quite high, because already now they're usable even though they have not received a new level for quite some time. Next one, then we have as well the Loons. Loons have not received a new level, which means Warden Charge Fireball with Rocket Loons, or as well the Catalyst Army with Yetis and Rocket Loons and such. With the Yeti level and Rocket Loon level, that strategy would be as well among the top strategies in the game. So what I'm trying to tell you here is that I feel like the future of Tunnel 18 might be the best we had in a long time over the different years now with the new Tunnel level. If those meta strategies, Dragons, then Super Witches, Yetis, Loons, all of those different troops, Titans, maybe even Root Riders, because I feel like they could use a new level. Just don't give them like 600 more hit points, more like 200 or something. Just a small tiny boost. But like all of those different troops, if they receive new levels, the meta would be crazy good. So many viable strategies, it would be mind-blowing. We would not have had this in so many years. So this is why I'm really positive about the future. We just have to power through the time while we are waiting for this next set of new levels. Because right now, it is for sure limited. Don't get me wrong, I'm not trying to hype up the current meta because it is mostly dominated by Meteor Golems. The good news is that you can way easier bait them and defend them compared to the Root Riders we had before. But long story short, with the next update then we will most likely get new defense levels and new troop levels. This is the time where Tunnel 18 is going to turn into a huge variety fest, I believe, which is going to be just amazing. So this is why I'm right now at least quite positive about the future. Right now, it is limited. Again, no argument about that. I feel like that's no big surprise. But now as well, let's talk about the one thing I would like to see nerfed. I already said I would not touch the Meteor Golem or the Totem Spell because the overall difficulty has been increased with Tunnel 18 and the top players are not even facing non-stop maxed bases. So with that being said, there is one thing which indirectly as well would nerf the Meteor Golems or smash ground attacks in general, and that is Sneezy. Those boogers should not trigger red mines. This is just busted. The fact that you cannot, you can just not take down healers with red mines whatsoever. There's always a random booger flying around, triggering at least half of those red mines, which is turning the red mine farm into completely useless nonsense. Yes, you could put it on the outside and hope for the best that the attacker is sleeping and not starting with the test loon. Okay, but that is then on the attacker, and that is not like, oh, great base building or something. So what I'm asking for is remove the ability of the boogers to trigger red mines. Now, I've said that already in the past that this change is needed, and some people are saying iTzu. Then the Sneezy is just useless. That statement to me is kind of crazy, but I just want to show you how crazy this is. The boogers are spawned every 10 seconds and they have 2,000 hit points. If you do this over the full 3-minute time, you're spawning tanks of overall 36,000 hit points. Now, if you compare this to the really strong pet with the name Lassie, I mean, she has 4,100 hit points as a pet already on its own. You might see now the difference where the statement that's like Sneezy is turning useless with this removal of the red mine interaction thing. That is just mind-blowingly, sorry, stupid. That's just all I can say there. Air attacks as well are not really affected much. Typically, boogers are so close to dragons and such that when they trigger red mines, the dragons are getting hit as well. So that is not really something which is going to change. The only thing which is affected really is the smash ground attacks, and that you can now bait healers, and attackers have to actually care about the possibility that there's somewhere a red mine farm to take down the healers. This is the only thing affected. Warden charge is not really affected either, because you need to use test loons anyways for black mines. So, really, overall, this one change would make things way, way better. Proper base building would have bigger effect. At the same time, Meteor Golem would get affected a little bit. At the same time, tanky smash type attacks where you have super boulders with healers behind, super witches with boulders with healers behind, super yetis with healers, like pretty much all of those ground attacks where you rely on your healers, have some more risk now involved, where you have to properly test and space out your test loons. This is the only nerf which I'm asking for. Everything else, in my opinion, should get literally buffed. But yeah, let me know what you think about this. Would you agree with my expectations of the future that Town Hall 18 possibly will bring us the best meta we ever had over the last, not we ever had, but like we had over the last couple of years? Or would you disagree there? I would love to hear your opinion as well. Do you think the really Sneezy is deserving this insane overbuff right now of like doing pretty much everything at the same time? Or do you think as well the at least removal, I'm not even saying like you should nerf it with like hit points and such or spawn rate or something, that's still probably too strong, but like I don't care about that. I just want to have counterplay. This is like what I'm asking for. So let me know if you would agree or disagree there. I would love to hear your opinions in the comments. And as always, thank you so much for watching the video. I will see you guys back then with the next class video. Until then, see ya and bye bye.